Next up, from Louisiana, it's the West Monroe High School Marching Band and Raiders. Texas. These are the Texas State University Strutters. They are selected as the first U.S. dance team to perform in the People's Republic of China. The Texas State Strutters have also represented Texas State University and the city of San Marcos in the America's Got Talent program on NBC. The Texas State University Strutters are led by Tammy Fife. Next up, you are in for a big treat. It's the Talladega College Great Tornado Band and home of the Amistad Murals. Their motto, "We'll keep marching on." The Talladega College Band from Talladega, Alabama has performed for Mardi Gras in New Orleans, an NFL football game, and for band showcases all across America. The Talladega College Great Tornado Band. One more time for the Talladega College Great Tornado Band. rounding out our Section 1 is the Boy Scouts of America National Capital Area Council. They're carrying state flags as they entered the Union, representing Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, and New York. The Boy Scouts of America. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with our next unit, we turn once again to our DoD announcer, Marine Corporal Alex Smith.
Coming up next is the United States Marine Corps Staff Element. The United States Marine Corps was created by a declaration of the Second Continental Congress on November 10, 1775. Established in 1801, Marine Barracks, Washington, at 8th and I Streets, Southeast in Washington, D.C., is the oldest post of the Marine Corps.
And now, representing the Marine Corps, the President's own United States Marine Band in its 54th inaugural appearance. Established in 1798, Marine Band made its inaugural debut in 1801 for President Thomas Jefferson.
Followed behind them is the Marine Corps Color Guard. The United States Marine Corps Color Guard is a 4-man team, also from Marine Barracks, Washington. The United States Marine Corps Reserve is up next. Leading the 2nd Company of the United States Marines in today's parade are the Marines at Reserve Training Center, Anacostia.
Up next, we are honored to have the Navajo Code Talkers Association. Hailing from Tuba City, Arizona, they represent the Navajo Code Talkers, World War II veterans representing the brave service members who served a vital role in achieving victory during World War II. And we are proud to welcome the U.S. Border Patrol Pipes and Drums from Washington, D.C. They exist to honor fallen agents. The horses are workhorses assigned to patrol in the Rio Grande Valley sector in the state of Texas. The U.S. Border Patrol Pipes and Drums.
Live images of the parade, and of course Donald Trump, the president, and his family watching the parade as it goes by on Pennsylvania Avenue. You can hear a lot of background noise here because we have the sort of fascinating experience of watching the parade and seeing local high school bands perform, and of course professional bands, the Marine Corps band perform, and behind us protests a few floors down are going on with their own bands. So it's definitely a dissonant moment and sort of representative, really, of where the country's going over the next few years. And Bill, you were remarking how for so many of the young people who march in these parades, it's an incredibly meaningful experience.
Absolutely. It's one and only chance to be in Washington, see the president, and perform
in
for
front of
him.
the president, absolutely. Let's go to Abby Phillip, who's at the White House taking all of this in. Abby.
Hi. Well, the last couple of minutes here has been probably the most high energy it's been all day. We had a couple of acts go by that got the crowd chanting, got the president himself clapping his hands and cracking a really big smile. So the energy level is really rising, and it's just sort of one of those moments when I think everybody starts to feel a little bit of the celebration part of this. It's leading into a night of parties and balls, and for the first family, this has been a really overwhelming day. I mean, from dawn until dusk, it's now completely dark outside here, and they've been at it for quite some time, very early in the morning, going to a church service, and really experiencing something that is extraordinary and incredibly overwhelming. And they look a little bit overwhelmed still, but for a moment there, as a band and a marching band and dancers passed by, they were playing the Pharrell pop song Happy, and everybody for just a couple of minutes seemed to kind of let all of that go. They were clapping, they were dancing a little bit and smiling, and it was a really light moment here in Lafayette Square on Pennsylvania Avenue.
All right, thank you so much, Abby Phillip, there at the White House. We're going to let you go tonight. We know it's been a long day. Thank you, Abby. And if we can now, we're going to turn to our colleague Dalton, who's been following the protests today. I believe he's down there now and can give us an update on where things stand. Dalton, are you with us?
I am. So right now we are just outside of the Washington Post in Franklin Square Park. There's still thousands of protesters that are here. About 15, 20 minutes earlier, there was in true DC fashion in some ways, we heard a punk concert playing just behind us. If you look just directly behind me, right in the intersection of 14th and U, we can still see thousands gathered. Look, there are tons of people out on the street. It doesn't look like they're going anywhere. And from the folks that we've talked to, they said as the day is winding down, their message is clear that this is just the beginning for them. And don't expect to see much more of this across the country. Now, again, tomorrow is going to be a big day again here in the city. We can expect thousands, possibly tens of thousands of demonstrators to gather for the Women's March. But overall, the situation here with the demonstrators is it's calm, it's peaceful. I mean, you can even see Trump supporters that are leaving the inauguration, mingling in the crowd, popping in to see what was going on, what was the commotion earlier. But in closing, the last thing I want to say is that, there's a lot of folks that you might not see here on camera, but, it took an army of us to make this happen. And I just want to give a shout out to, a cameraman and Bastion and everybody else I worked with out here in the fields to make this show happen and bring this to you guys. But back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Dalton, just one last question for you, if you could stick with us. I'm wondering, do you think that these protests could get underway again tonight? Could we see more potential clashes with police or marching or demonstrating throughout the rest of the evening, do you think?
Look, the ebb and the flow of a protest, I think now where we're at, I mean, it's definitely lost a lot of energy. It's lost a lot of momentum. People are leaving. Folks I talk to, they feel like they've made their voices heard. They might be going out to meet friends for drinks or just rest up for tomorrow's protest. But obviously, when you got a lot of people in the city, tempers are high. There's a lot of tension in the air surrounding this, and there certainly could be the potential for maybe isolated groups to continue their protests. But overall, I think it's a pretty festive mood here now, and things seem to be winding down.
All right, well, Dalton, thank you very much for your help today. We're back here on set with Libby Caisson and Bill Plant. Bill, obviously, we saw a lot today. We saw the Obamas depart. We had an inaugural address that broke with precedent in many ways. Some surprises here with the protests. What are some of your final reflections?
No matter how bitterly an election is contested, and this one was pretty bitter, I think today shows that we're committed in this nation to the peaceful transfer of power. We saw it again today. And the pomp and circumstance that goes with that installation is part of the tradition, part of the process. It's celebrated by the supporters of the new president, and it's protested by those who disagree with him. Today, most of those protests were peaceful. There were some violent protests, a fairly small number, just outside our headquarters here. But you have to remember that in much of the world, even the peaceful protests would not be tolerated. And that freedom to express ourselves is one of the most important things that we have in this country. And today encapsulates it.
That's right. Libby, any closing thoughts?
Well, at least we'll see more of that tomorrow with the Women's March, but there are also demonstrations that are planned all around the country. You know, I have people I follow on social media in Alaska who are planning to have small community rallies where they live. So we'll see what that turns into. And I think a question for a lot of Democrats is, will that momentum move them forward at all with their agenda? You know, we all remember the reporting from 8 years ago on inauguration night for President Barack Obama. Republicans huddled. They literally huddled and strategized and talked about how they were going to stop his agenda. Will Democrats be as structured and as organized, not just in protesting and pushing back in public ways, but in ways that can gain momentum through the lawmaking process or stopping the lawmaking process? So we'll be watching to see where Republicans go over the next couple of weeks, also where Democrats go. But tonight is a night of celebration for Donald Trump and his family, for his supporters. We'll see these balls this evening. A lot of bars and restaurants are open in D.C. much later hours than they usually are. So they'll be gathering places for both his supporters as well as people who are out protesting in the streets. This does not end in the way that a lot of inaugurations would wrap up tonight because of the planned protests tomorrow, Elise.
That's right. And for us here at the Washington Post, the story is really just beginning. We want to thank our viewers who have stuck with us throughout the day. Whether you're here in the United States or around the world, we thank you for being with us. I'm Elise Spivak here with Libby Casey and Bill Plant. Keep checking on thewashingtonpost.com throughout the night for more news and news on the protest this weekend. And for now, we're going to leave you with the rest of the parade. Good night.
Up next, from the University of Tennessee, it's the Pride of the Southland Marching Band. From Knoxville, Tennessee, they wear the Power T for Tennessee as they march in their 13th presidential inaugural parade. The University of Tennessee Pride of the Southland Marching Band is one of the top collegiate bands in the country. They're performing Rocky Top, the top collegiate fight song in the country. carrying state flags as they entered the Union. From North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana, Mississippi, Illinois, and Alabama. The Boy Scouts of America providing the nation's foremost youth program of character development and values-based leadership training. Let's hear it for our Boy Scouts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our DOD announcer, Marine Corporal Alex Smith, to tell you about our next unit from the United States Navy.
Leading the United States Navy is the Navy Staff, which consists of 2 naval officers, 1 Navy Master Chief, and a Naval Academy midshipman. Staff is customarily preceding the United States Navy marching units in all formal parades. And following them immediately is the United States Navy Band. Following the Navy Band is the United States Naval Academy, represented by 91 talented young men and women from each company within the Brigade of Midshipmen. Since 1845, the United States Naval Academy has served as the undergraduate college of the Navy and Marine Corps. It prepares midshipmen morally, mentally, and physically. Following them immediately is the United States Navy. The mission of the Navy is to maintain, train, and equip combat-ready naval forces capable of winning wars, deterring aggression, and maintaining freedom of the seas. The active duty company consists of 90 personnel and is led by Lieutenant Commander John Kitt.
Up next, the United States Navy Color Guard, composed of sailors from the Navy Ceremonial Guard Color Guard Platoon. They serve in various roles in support of the President, the Department of Defense, and Navy leadership.
Following the Color Guard is the United States Navy Reserve. America's Navy Reserve is an essential element of the total force that is America's Navy. Wherever the important work of the Navy is being conducted in the world today, whenever the maritime strategy that guides those efforts is being executed, Navy reservists are there.
And now those beautiful horses are on the way, appearing in their 3rd inaugural parade, the Merced County Sheriff's Posse from Hillmar, California. Marching 15 riders and traveling over 2,400 miles to Washington for this parade. They were organized in 1948 and have won significant awards around the country, including appearances in the Tournament of Roses Parade and the Hollywood Christmas Parade.
Dick.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Coastal Florida Police Fire, Pipes, and Drums from Palm Coast, Florida, the official pipe band of the Flagler County Sheriff Office and the Palm Coast Fire Department. Each member of the band today dedicating their march to one more fallen law enforcement officer, firefighter, or canine unit, as noted on the morning band on their bagpipes or drums. The Coastal Florida Police and Fire, Pipes, and Drums. The Michigan Multi-Jurisdictional Mounted Police Drill Team and Color Guard from Lansing, Michigan are making their 3rd appearance in an inaugural parade. They were organized by now retired Michigan State Police Detective Lieutenant Lorenzo Veal II. Leading the Michigan Multi-Jurisdictional Mounted Police Drill Team and Color Guard are co-founders Lorenzo Veal II and Paula Kenya. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, AMVETS National, representing American veterans from Lanham, Maryland, the oldest and largest veteran service organization open to and fighting for all veterans who serve honorably, including reservists and guardsmen. Their mission is to enhance and safeguard the entitlements for all American veterans who have served honorably and to improve the quality of life for them, their families, and the communities where they live through leadership, advocacy, and services. Let's hear it for the AMVETS. Up next, the 1st Infantry Commanding General's Mounted Color Guard, a ceremonial unit serving as ambassadors of the 1st Infantry Division from Fort Riley, Kansas, in the U.S. Army to the American public. The 1st Infantry Commanding General's Mounted Color Guard performs in over 350 mounted or dismounted events annually. Representing the U.S. Army's 1st Infantry Division and Fort Riley, Kansas. And representing next, the Girl Scouts of America. Being led by a group of Gold Award-winning Girl Scouts, they've earned the highest and most prestigious award in Girl Scouting. Since 1916, the Gold Award has helped Girl Scouts make meaningful, sustainable change in their communities and around the world. And now the Franklin Regional High School Panther Marching Band. From Marysville, Pennsylvania, 30 miles east of Pittsburgh, this is their first appearance in the parade. Caisson's Battalion, administered by retired and regular Army personnel assigned to the Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps at Fishburne Military School, teaching principles of leadership, time management, and self-discipline through classroom instruction and emphasizing their practical application during military drills and related activities. The Junior ROTC program fosters the excellence for which each Fishburne Academy cadet strives. Station, Texas, a youth country and western dance team made up of boys and girls from ages 8 to 18. These are the Little and Elite Wranglers from College Station, Texas. Once again, the Boy Scouts of America from Bethesda, Maryland, carrying state flags in the order that they entered the Union. From Maine, Missouri, Arkansas, Michigan, Florida, Texas, Iowa, Wisconsin, California, Minnesota, and Oregon. Let's hear it once again for the Boy Scouts of America National Capital Area Council for their participation today. Now, once again, to tell you about our next military element from the DOD, our special announcer for the day, Marine Corporal Alex Smith.
Coming up next is the Air Force, and representing them in today's parade is the Air Force staff. Comprising the 4-member staff are members of each component of the service: active duty, reserve, National Guard, and the United States Air Force Academy. Let's hear it for the Air Force Band. Following them is the United States Air Force Academy, represented by 90 cadets. The United States Air Force Academy marching beneath the colors of the Cadet Wing. These young men and women represent more than 4,000 members of the Air Force Cadet Wing. Following them is the United States Air Force. Representing the active duty Air Force is the United States Air Force Honor Guard. The all-volunteer unit has represented the Air Force at official ceremonies around the nation since 1948. Following them is the United States Air Force Color Guard. Proudly carrying the colors of the nation and the United States Air Force are members of the United States Air Force Honor Guard. Established in 1948, the Honor Guard performs in a variety of ceremonies, including promotions, retirements, military funerals, and state funerals, including President Reagan's.
Now marching on behalf of the United States Air National Guard, members of the District of Columbia Air National Guard, the Capitol Guardians have supported every presidential inauguration since 1861, the inauguration of President Lincoln.
Following them is the United States Air Force Reserve. Representing nearly 70,000 citizen airmen of the United States Air Force Reserve is the 459th Air Refueling Wing, located at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland.
Throughout its history, the Citadel has maintained a tradition of duty, pride, and excellence as part of the cadet experience. Please welcome from Charleston, South Carolina, the Citadel Regimental Bagpipes and Band. Also from the Citadel, membership in the Citadel Summerall Guards is considered a high honor at the military college. These 61 members are first-class senior cadets. This equestrian unit is the 1st Cavalry Division's Horse Cavalry Detachment from Fort Hood, Texas, a special ceremonial unit for the Department of the Army founded in 1972. Comprised of active duty soldiers, the unit has performed in ceremonies across the country, including 13 Tournament of Roses parades and 5 inaugural parades. Now the Olivet Nazarene University Tiger Marching Band from Bourbonnais, Illinois. This unit was the lead band in the 2016 London New Year's Day Parade. Students from DoD overseas schools. The 26 members of the group are the Jaguars from Naval Air Station Sigonella, Italy, and include 20 8th grade U.S. history students, 2 active duty military members, 2 military spouses, and 2 DoD EA teachers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a huge treat. From Tupelo, Mississippi, the Tupelo High School Band, wearing black uniforms accented in gold and blue, playing for you, This Is My Country, and God Bless America. Cowgirls Rodeo Drill Team from New Buffalo, Michigan are very proud to represent Southwest Michigan and Northwest Indiana. The Cowgirls riding today range in age from 10 to more than 50 years old. They're not riding in parades. This group of ladies enjoys speeding around an arena to a choreographed routine and presenting the flags at rodeos and other events. Thank you, Cowgirls, so much. Our next performance group hails from Naples, Florida. The Palmetto Ridge High School Band is the first Collier County marching band to perform in the presidential inaugural parade. They were able to raise over $135,000 with the help of the Friends at Fox News by collecting donations throughout the community and their website. The Palmetto Ridge Marching Pride of Naples, Florida. Flags as they were admitted to the Union. Representing Kansas, West Virginia, Nevada, Nebraska, Colorado, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Washington State, Idaho, and Wyoming. Once again, the Boy Scouts of America National Capital Area Council and their great flag bearers participating today.
Coast Guard is the staff element, followed by the United States Coast Guard Band. Also is the United States Coast Guard. U.S. Coast Guard Active Duty Company represents the 42,000 Coast Guard active duty members. Leading the United States Coast Guard Active Duty Company is Commander Joseph Muse. Also is the United States Coast Guard Reserve. The Reserve component is represented by members of Coast Guard headquarters. There are 3,860 military, civilian, and contractor men and women who do work at headquarters every day to support the execution of all 11 of Coast Guard's statutory missions. Following them is the United States Coast Guard Color Guard, coming from Alexandria, Virginia, and carrying the National Ensign and Coast Guard standards are the United States Coast Guard Ceremonial Honor Guard.
Ladies and gentlemen, those beautiful horses are from the Cleveland Police Mounted Units from Cleveland, Ohio, one of the oldest continuous mounted units in America. Their first inaugural parade was in 1921 for President Harding's inauguration. And we welcome the North Carolina Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association from Hillsborough, North Carolina, wearing flight suits from the Vietnam War era. By the way, this unit's costs have been paid by parade participants. This is the third presidential inaugural parade this unit has participated in, and all members were helicopter pilots in the Vietnam conflict with a combined excess of 20,000 combat flying hours. As these Vietnam helicopter pilots pass, let's hear it one more time for these true American heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, our next flag unit is the Palm Beach Police Honor Guard, representing the town of Palm Beach, Florida, the home of some of the most prestigious people in the world, including our new president, Donald J. Trump. Sponsored by the Palm Beach Police Foundation, they are honored and privileged to be participating in this inaugural parade, the Palm Beach Police Honor Guard. Our next performance group hails from Russellville, Arkansas. The Russellville High School Band is proud to receive this invitation to represent their school, community, and state at today's parade. This is the Russellville Cyclone Band. Count them all, 180 members. Equestrian unit is the Freedom Riders from Greeley, Colorado, consisting of all female riders between the ages of 16 and 60 years old. They've participated in 2 previous inaugurations for Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama. They were the featured opening act for the World Show finale of the American Point Horse Association in Fort Worth, Texas. Look at these beautiful equestrian units. Let's hear it for the Freedom Riders. Ladies and and gentlemen, from Short Gap, West Virginia, the Frankfort High School Falcon Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Boy Scouts of America National Capital Area Council, representing state flags and territories as those states and territories entered the Union. Representing Washington, D.C., American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, along with Utah, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, and Hawaii.
And following the Boy Scouts of America's United States Merchant Marine Academy staff element, with the United States Merchant Marine Academy Band following closely behind. Following the Merchant Marine Academy Band is the Merchant Marine Academy Color Guard. The U.S. Merchant Marine Academy is privileged among the nation's 5 federal academies to be the only institution authorized to carry a battle standard as part of its color guard. Following the color guard is the United States Merchant Marine Academy.
This is the first troop, Philadelphia City Cavalry, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They've served in every major American conflict, from the Revolution through the global war on terror. Each ring on the unit's guide on marks a battle in which this historic unit has fought. The unit's men are cavalry scouts assigned to the U.S. Army's 1st Squadron, 104th Cavalry Regiment in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, and this is the oldest company-sized military unit in continuous service to the Republic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, bringing our 58th Presidential Inaugural Parade to a close, 1,500 Corps of Cadets of the Virginia Military Institute from Lexington, Virginia, its 15th appearance in the parade. Let's hear it for these wonderful folks from VMI. Founded in 1839, graduates of VMI have served in every war since the Mexican-American War. This regimental band marches in national parades, including 2 appearances in the Tournament of Roses Parade. Once again, 1,500 Corps of Cadets from VMI. passing of this final unit, this concludes the 58th Presidential Inaugural Parade honoring the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and Vice President Michael R. Pence. Let's hear it for our new President and Vice President and the first family enjoying today's parade in the Presidential Reviewing Stand. Thank you, sir. This was a true honor. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed today's festivities. We're honored you joined us in our nation's capital for a celebration of not just a president and vice president, but of the entire American people. As you return to your own community, big or small, we hope you carry the spirit of this day home with you and make an ongoing commitment to serve your community and your country.
And on behalf of the Department of Defense, thank you.
Please be careful as you return to your homes and hotels. Today's crowd may make traveling slow going, so please have patience. To avoid having to wait for the metro, consider walking to your destination or stopping by.
KT, take care. God bless. You got it. Laura, you know KT?